So, World of Light's a lot of fun, but goodness gracious, that map is awful. Now, don't get me wrong, the core gameplay of the mode is a pretty big joy to play, and you'll be doing that for quite a while because wow, there's a lot of content in this mode. But much is the case for the entire Smash Bros series as of late, the user experience ends up pretty trash tier. Any one of you who played through Smash 4 on the Wii U, or just watch Relax's video on the subject, which is pretty great, card up in the corner, knows well and fair the pain of navigating through that weird mosaic-style menu system. I mean, who could forget such classics as shoving the single-player training just down in the bottom of a corner where no one can even find it in the bum regions of the screen? It's all just so clunky and unintuitive, and boy how did they even top that in World of Light's map. So if y'all could join me, let's take a careful look at what I believe can happen when you sacrifice function for form. Off the gate to me, the controls of this confusing pile of who knows what as you navigate through this whole design. A lot of this comes down how World of Light's map likes to flirt with a lot of different concepts, but not actually commit to a single one. On one hand, you've got 3D motion, and all the subtle twists and turns that come with that. But on the other, you're stuck to a predefined path, and it can only move in the limited areas that it gives you. And as you might guess it, when you put these two together, it just doesn't mix. And the beautiful outcomes of this lie in an inconsistent and hard to use control scheme. For example, say you're running right in one of the game's many intersections. No problem, you go right, as expected. But just try to retrace your steps to that same place, and whoops, now you made a wrong turn into who knows where. And secondly, here worth mentioning is the goof speed system that this map opens up. As you make your way through the overworld map, just trying to get from point A to point B, your slow trot will eventually become a beefed up sprint, which does allow you to get through the map in slightly less time. And while I appreciate the consideration here of trying to keep schedule, the way the map handles it is just off. You see, since it takes so long to build up pace, the first few parts of your journey feel slow and tedious. But to add on to that, the whole journey feels lopsided, since when you actually reach that speed, it's much easier to overshoot turns and maybe miss your destination. It's just hectic and overall a pain. Oh, you just spaced out holding up on the joystick trying to get to your gate and now you missed the button prompt. Well, yeah, now you're a solid football field away. Enjoy the first down, you goof. Probably the silliest part of the design and the movement segments here is that they go back to that same lack of commitment we talked about earlier. It doesn't control like the main gameplay and the 2D plane, and it certainly doesn't control like a menu, so it's just kinda there. But let me say, a lot of the issues with these controls would have been remedied with the addition of a fast travel system. But nope, that whole point's missed here too. Nothing comes easy in life, pal. And also it's gonna make sure that you take every single last step and enjoy it. This gets particularly frustrating when paired with the game mechanic of different spirits opening up different parts of the map. So say you free a spirit on this corner of the map, and now you have to use that spirit to then go build a bridge or fix a train or whatever have you on the other corner of the map. Well, you're forced to walk over there and actually meander past that segment yourself, like some sort of weird misfire of a Metroidvania. Now, let me make this clear. None of this is tough to do. It just takes time, especially if you're like me and you struggle with the silliness of the controls that I mentioned earlier. And spoilers here, make sure to go here to skip it. When the game opens up the different realms, which are essentially the different worlds of the map, you're forced to go to specific gateways on the map to actually go to those different locations. There's no immediacy here, and that feels particularly weird when your job on the map is nothing more than a glorified cursor to get you from spirit challenge to spirit challenge. Also, yeah, the art looks nice. Good job there. My stupid four eyes have a hard time determining what in the world I'm supposed to be walking on. There's a beanstalk that you climb on the map with such ease that even Jack would be jealous. But the fancy twists and turns that are integrated in the design are just fluff, and it's pretty much just a straightforward path. Let me mention, this is a problem since you can only move along the set path that the game gives you. So when that's the case, it'd be pretty sweet if you could always tell out what you're supposed to be actually walking on. Since I know I can't always make the distinction, but don't worry about that, because the game gives you the generous feature of being able to tilt the dang thing. Just do it, man. Tilt the map. No worries. Okay, so this video's been pretty doom and gloom with the design here. And in fairness, that is how the topic got started in my head when playing through World of Light. But as I worked through the overworld map as I beat World of Light, it got me thinking about what goes into a good overworld map design. So I started sleuthing. After all, it's not exactly a new concept to the gaming landscape, and I think there's been plenty of great examples here that we can learn from. So let's take a look. Take for one the iconic Super Mario Bros. 3 overworld map. I mean, geez, they had this stuff figured out back in 1988. You were kept to a clean path, but this actually worked, since the only directions you could go were up, down, left, and right. There's a level of immediacy here, so it doesn't waste your time when you're trying to get to the main gameplay. But that's not to say that it doesn't also offer some neat overworld offerings, like roaming bosses. For a more contemporary example, Yacht Club Games' Shovel Knight did this same system, and it worked great there too. But hey, maybe Sakurai and his team would rather keep with that 3D joystick movement and the fancy visuals. Well, no problem. Look no further than one of Kirby's other adventures on the Switch, Kirby Star Allies. In this game, there's no hassle of free roaming around the 3D environment, which, much like Smash Bros. Ultimate, deviates from the core gameplay's mechanics. But here, there's no set path. There's one outline, but you get the choice to deviate from that and go collect stars and jump around at your own whim. Probably the best example of this lies in the game's fourth world, which, side note, you can warp to from a clean-cut map at whatever time you want. But Anywho, this allows Kirby to travel around in his signature warp star with little to no restrictions, and it's way more satisfying than what World of Light attempts. Plus, much like the game, all of Star Ally's map designs are beautiful and charming in the same way that shows that you can have actually map visuals that look nice and still play slick. So what I'm trying to say here is that you can have dazzling visuals and a great spectacle in your map without having to sacrifice too much time to this portions. Because in the end, a player's most memorable experiences are going to come from the bulk of challenges and levels the team spent so much time in handcrafting. Look at, for example, why everyone talking about this mode is mentioning the Jeff and Pauline challenges. Instead of, oh man, remember how much fun it was to walk around from challenge 31 to 36 in a different zip code of the map? Wow, this is a blast. So if I had any advice for the World of Light map designers, it would just be to consider the bare bones substance of your map before adding on any of the fancy style that you want to later. Because after all, the greatest detriment this design offers up to the game is that it actually takes time away from the main challenges, which is a shame, because they're actually pretty great. This is all my take on how I found traversing the map in the game to be. I did my research on the topic, but hey, the game's still pretty new. Maybe I skipped a feature that would have cleaned this all up, or I just kind of missed the point as to why it's all there. So if you had a different experience with it, that's great. Chuck a comment down below and let me know about it. And after you're done with that, throw a 1 up here or 2 up here for more Smash content, and until then, ladies and folks, I will see you next time. You have a good one, alright?